Welcome to ForexDayBreak, a daily podcast where we cover 8 Forex pairs and give you our view on the market direction for these pairs. If you are trading Forex market, this is the #1 show to start your trading day. Now, let's begin today's episode.
Good morning everybody and welcome to ForexDayBreak episode 34. In this daily Forex update, I will give you my view on 8 Forex pairs I analyze using Elliott wave principle. My name is Ville Vainio and today is 23rd of September 2015. This podcast is recorded also as video and it is available from the members area at ForexDayBreak.com. The analysis is best viewed as video, but you can follow along with the images found on the show notes page at ForexDayBreak.com/34. Now let's get started and let's get right on to our first pair, which is Euro USD as usual. The very strong decline has continued. We are approaching the 61.8% Fibonacci expansion level and also the recent minute wave 1 low, which is at 110.87. Price now 111.2, and we can start to see possibly a 5-wave structure right now. From the high of wave 2 we can maybe start to track 5-wave structure. At this point this structure would look a little bit incorrect since the third wave seems to be the shortest, and this is not allowed in Elliott wave analysis. So perhaps we are still on a third wave and maybe see today or tomorrow a sideways correction as wave 4 and are still forming the wave 3. So it's hard to say at this point what is the correct labeling within this wave, the divisions, but what is more and more certain is that we have started the larger decline with this wave 3 and also with this whole structure from this high 117.13. So we are now forming the first wave of the third wave of this large decline, and as you can see in my chart, this is intermediate wave degree 4 that I have labeled, and we are now tracking minute wave degree. So there's a 2 degree difference between minute and intermediate. So once this minute wave 3 is completed, there should be 2 more waves within the first wave of the intermediate wave 5. So if this labeling and degree is correct, we can expect a lot more downside on this pair and also much lower figures than what we have seen. Now I'm expecting the 104.6 level, which is the recent long-term low, to be broken eventually. There's still some way to go onto that level, but this wave count has played out almost entirely as I have expected. I have seen also a wave count that would propose that this sideways correction is a B wave, so that would mean that we are in for a very long bear market. So it is very interesting to see how this plays out. What is the correct wave labeling here, if we are going to see years more downside or just one more intermediate wave degree wave down. So interesting to see. The one thing that most market participants are agreeing that we are seeing more and more euro weakness on the coming days. So this is evident here and also in most of the euro pairs. Okay, let's continue. Dollar yen is still on this triangle formation. I might have to revise my count since this triangle is not suiting very well to my wave count. So we can see the triangle is forming here. There's 3 wave structure of the first, then the second and the third, and maybe we can expect something like this. But let's see how this develops. Now it's looking like we might see a more decline. 119,885 is the price right now. And this triangle, like I said before, doesn't suit into this wave count very well, so I might need to revise this count and think this through. The strengthening dollar would propose more upside in here, but other yen pairs have started their respective bear markets. So this is a little bit of a mystery right now. What is the correct wave labeling here? I will revise this maybe today or tomorrow, and let's see what is going on here and what is the correct wave labeling. In my opinion, there is hardly any trading opportunities here, so I wouldn't trade this pair until we see a clear structure. Well, this is clear structure, because if this is a triangle, they are very accurate forms of structure. So let's see what happens here, what is the correct labeling after all, and how this is going to continue. Let's move to pound dollar, which has continued this very strong decline now. We can see now perhaps the third wave is forming. Maybe we see a sideways move here and continue lower. 153.46 is the price right now. 153.3 is the latest B wave low. So once we see a breakthrough that level, then we can start to look for new midterm lows. 150.1624 is the low of the minute wave 1. So below that I'm expecting this pair to continue and lower still once this decline continues. This is long-term bearish in my long-term wave count, so I'm expecting a lot more downside to come on this pair, like in the Euro USD pair. Okay, next let's move on to Euro Pound, and now this has made almost a 5-wave structure from the truncated 5th wave peak. So we can expect one more wave down. The price now 0.7247, and we are right around the 4th wave low at 0.724. The high of the truncated 5th wave 0.7357, and well, it's slightly messy structure, but we can make out a 5-wave structure here. Maybe we can draw it here. So this would be the truncated 5th wave ending at 0.73573, and now we can see 4 waves down, and one more wave down is expected before larger correction can take place. So if this has reversed, this is also a very high degree reversal, and a lot more downside is expected, and this is supporting the view of the other euro pairs. Euro USD looks like a long-term bearish structure is forming there and continuing the long-term downtrend, and also Euro Yen in my wave count is at least mid-term bearish, forming a larger degree C wave, but we will see this next when we move on to Euro Yen. So also bearish view here for the euro, price now 133.31. We are approaching the 132.225 low, the recent low of minute wave 1, and I have labeled waves 1 and 2 as completed, and this is very strong, as strong as was the move from the low of minute wave 1 to this peak of minute wave 2, 137.435. We can see the peak here. So waves 1 and 2 probably completed here and forming the third wave and looking very strong to the downside. So more downside is expected here as well. Okay, next let's move on to pound yen, and pound yen has continued to decline. We can see three-wave structure at this point, but looking very strong and is supporting the view of lower prices on the pound. On pound dollar we can see lower figures, very strong decline on pound dollar, and also here we can see a starting minute wave 3 decline. We have passed the 184.195 level, and once we see a 5-wave structure, then this is more certain that the decline next wave down has started, and much more lower figures is expected. This is also long-term bearish in my long-term wave count. Intermediate wave degree reversal has happened at 195.8 level, which was back in June 2015, that peak, and since then we have seen lower figures, price now 183.98 and getting lower still. I'm expecting a large degree 3-wave corrective structure, and we are now forming the minor wave 3 of that first wave A. Actually this is a primary wave degree reversal. If I remember correctly, it was a wave correction that ended in 195.8 level. So we should see a primary wave B forming, and we are now forming the first 5-wave structure of minor degree of this 3-wave structure. So very large degree reversal if my wave count is correct, and we can expect much lower figures in this pair. If I remember correctly, the previous fourth wave is around 146, so this is quite a long way to go down if this is correct. Okay, next we have Euro Canadian dollar, which has declined 147.8 now the price. Yesterday I talked that 146.6 would be one of the levels I want to see broken before this can be on a more solid footing, this wave count. The decline has been quite mild, but like I have talked before, Euro and Canadian dollar both are very weak right now, so we cannot expect a rapid decline when there is two weak currencies face to face. So looking more and more likely that the minute wave 3 has started and is continuing lower. Maybe we can see a 3-wave structure right now. So once we see a 5-wave structure, then we can start to think about projecting targets more accurately once we are more certain that this has indeed reversed and the correction, the minute wave correction, is over. So more downside is expected here as well, and this is supporting the view that there is going to be more and more euro weakness across the board. Okay, finally we have US dollar, Canadian dollar. The strong upwards move has continued, and we have passed the triangle trend line, the B wave peak, which was at 132.78, price now 132.865. So we are above the B wave peak, and the next stop will be 133.5, the recent minute wave 3 high and the recent long-term high. So once we see those levels and start to see a more solid 5-wave structure here, we can start project targets for this last wave, which would be minute wave degree 5th wave on minor degree 5th wave. So we are ending or forming the last wave of very large bullish 5-wave structure, and after that we should expect a large degree reversal once we see the completion of this 5th wave. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because there's a lot more to go. This is just at early stages of the 5th wave and is supporting the view of the stronger dollar as well in this pair. Okay, that's all for today's episode. Visit the show notes at ForexDayBreak.com/34 and you can follow along with the chart images found on that page. And remember that this podcast is recorded also as video, and it is available from the members area at ForexDayBreak.com. Another great feature you find there is my Elliott Wave Ninja trading system, and the both of these are included on the monthly subscription, which is only $10. I have a 14-day free trial for you, so take this no-risk opportunity and go to ForexDayBreak.com to sign up. Thanks for listening to my show. Now go make some profits, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thanks for your interest in Forex Daybreak Daily Podcast. If you like this show, we hope you'll visit our website, www.ForexDayBreak.com, and tell your friends about us. Be sure to check the show notes on our website for this episode. Join us next time for another episode of Forex Daybreak.